initially really hard. As time has progressed and my name's built up, it's got easier. Talking about this venue, you meet someone like yourself who's supporting people, and that's so important to keep the scene alive and to keep people gigging. Otherwise it's not there, it's not available, because people only want to book already well-established acts that can sell tickets.
It's definitely been a bit of a struggle, mostly because of the low wages you get paid as an up-and-coming artist.
Yeah.
If you want to play, support shows outside of your own city or try to go on tour, you end up having to put in a lot of money yourself. So you have to, it's a big investment to start out playing outside of your local area, I think. And I wasn't really able to tour with my band until I got funding, and that was, the only reason why we could tour, because if not we would have been, £4,000 in minus, and that's what they gave us, and that was the reason why. And I still didn't get paid a single penny from that. That was all to pay my collaborators, pay petrol, which is really, really expensive, pay my band members. Being able to come to Newcastle and playing Cobalt, where we've gotten paid a fair wage tonight.
Tell them, darling, I tell them all. I let the shadows soak my lips when your arms are gone.
I normally get paid maximum £100. No one hits the musicians' union rates. As a session musician, as an artist, you, especially I think in the north, you can't. It's not realistic. When I've been a touring musician myself, I've gotten paid £40 per gig.
Oh my god, really?
Normal support fee for me is usually 50 quid for the whole band playing. So being able to be paid this to play here tonight actually means that we can not only cover our petrol, but I can also pay my band the rest of the money, and they're taking time off work to come and play for my project. So for me, it makes such a huge difference that you're doing this. You kind of have to know someone, and I think locally that's easier to then find a promoter and ask them for a support slot, and then you can go from there. But once it's outside of your hometown, it's really hard because you're just relying on emails. I think just having a yes is really rare.
Well, I tell you what, you're really good. You need a lot more yeses.
Oh, thank you.
Really, it was
Thank
an
you.
absolutely beautiful gig.
Thank you so much. You rely on promoters and venues who put in so much of their life into doing this for so little return, and they're the only people keeping us afloat, because there's so little funding, especially in the north, and I feel like so little support. So you kind of rely on people working really long shifts, like you mentioned to me earlier how long your day's been today, and just being able to be fed a meal, which is really rare, and be given a couple of drinks, which is, I was talking to the other artists about this earlier, it's just so rare that you even feel welcome.
Wow.
in a venue.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a lot of cost involved then. If you want to bring a band, you have to pay for the food, you have to pay for the petrol, you have to pay for the accommodation and all those things, because that isn't even covered. And I know that's very normal in every other country. You'd pay and feed people. So you're doing a very special thing, and we felt very welcome tonight.
Silk around your waist. Look at the daisy.
Been playing regularly for about 10 years, and so the promoters that I have played with before tend to be really keen on supporting me getting new gigs, but trying to get a gig with a promoter who hasn't ever seen me before is almost impossible. It's like it basically just doesn't happen. So that's really difficult. So usually it'll happen. I don't know, maybe if a promoter is looking for an artist and then somebody who's seen me might recommend me to them. So occasionally it happens like that. But mostly it happens through supporting a more established band, and then a promoter would get to know me like that. But yeah. fed is, it seems like quite a small thing, I think, but if you're touring, knowing that you're going to get a good meal, actually it's so important, because it might be the only meal with vitamins that you get that day or that week. So it's hard. When you're touring, you're managing so many different things that the food can go out the window. So being fed is very amazing.
Cause you cares what you think as long as I rate it my way. Some things don't ever change.
I would say helping artists get gigs, I think it is really helpful when you help them with like supporting them with the means to get to the gigs. I think that's really helpful because like with this gig, it was really helpful that you're able to support us with transport, because getting from A to B can be difficult as an independent artist, and you end up maybe taking a loss on a gig, but maybe you don't want to lose out on an opportunity. I think as well, maybe just helping with the promotion of our events as well, because we're like independent artists. We have got our fan base, but maybe we don't know the fan base in a different city, for example. So we might have built like a very good like support system in our own cities, but maybe just getting a bit more support, getting people to come to our gigs when we do shows outside.
It's a good and a bad thing, because I think sometimes in a smaller place it's easier to find the right people, but at the same time maybe you can feel a little bit limited when you're in the north and there's only like a ceiling to what you can do or achieve. So I think it's really important that you have like more of an infrastructure. My circle and who I'm around, I wouldn't be in any of these spaces, but I'm like a super music head. I collect vinyl, I've been producing for a long time, I've made loads of albums, but just accessing people, I've just found it really hard. I feel like my personality type and the way I am, I just never found myself being in spaces where I could like meet or, you know, people that are thriving and doing things and doing new things. I just was never around it. I was just around people that were quite similar to me. So this is like the first time where I get to have the access and to meet new people that are like have loads of new ideas. So I think a lot of artists need that.
Where do my limbs go in limbo? I'm living two lives trying to synchronize.
Every time I've played at Cobalt, I've played new music. That's probably because the crowd here is like just super supportive. The atmosphere in here is always like attentive. So I feel like with an attentive crowd, you can screw around a bit, try new things. Because the crowd that come here just want to see new stuff. They just want to see it. And tonight, for example, I told the crowd that it was all new stuff, and they started cheering. You know? So I was like, "Yeah, let's do this. This is great."
I've played lots of new music. Yeah, I've got this new album, but this venue's felt good for it as well.
Hanging on a star, longing for your arms.
When you play here, it feels like it's more communal and there's more room for people to play new things, or for people that aren't as well established.
The way that Cobalt is laid out and the type of people that it brings in creates this it's like a cozy living room atmosphere. So it's an unintimidating space, which I really appreciate. Just the way that the lighting is, just the small details. For someone who's neurodivergent, really makes a massive deal of feeling like it's home. And in terms of sharing new music, it felt very welcoming. It's really allowed me to expand my network, which I'm really grateful for.
This is a really special space, so I'll try not to be too nice. Well, tonight I played something, it was the second time, but it was a new version.
I'm still wishing the thing out of life, I'm still alive.
So I love that this whole building, the whole environment, it kind of communicates creativity. It feels like a space for making art. It doesn't just feel like a venue for performing art, but then it is also like really, like the sound is great. You've got this really kind of pro lighting projection set up that it just looks great, which always helps. Like, people are kind of up for something a little bit experimental and something different, and people are paying attention. Just everybody who I've worked with here and met has been like really nice, but also really supportive. Like, working with Sarah today, doing a sound check, it was more than just like, I'm doing your sound today. It was really like, I'm going to help you try and get the sound right for you. And yeah, it feels like both a nurturing space and also a place that, I don't know, lets like creativity grow, flourish. It's, yeah.
Living two lives, trying to synchronize. Look at me, boy, I'm a simple guy, trying to find peace in a simple life.
Yeah, no, for sure, that would be helpful. I feel like, I don't know, like when we're creating, part of it is even finding the space to create. And if there is a space where you know, okay, and obviously there's studios and stuff, but one, they usually pay, like you have to pay to be there, and two, they can be quite sterile environments. But when it's like a venue that just naturally is a music venue anyway, they play music, there's other things going on around, like you said, food and stuff like that, I think it helps to create more of a space where like creativity can thrive. So
yeah, residencies would be amazing, to just have a dedicated space. Maybe like a co-residency where it's like a week residency or something, or a month residency, however it would work with the hours of this space. And then if there was a performance at the end, so it's some incentive to get something done, but also no pressure if you don't want to do that.
I was going to say, is that too much?
Well, that sounds really useful already. Mostly working in headphones, how it's just a completely different experience. Like, sonically, it just sounds so different, and it would be really good having like a proper studio, like music venue space to, I don't know, come up with new ideas, but maybe more what you've just said of like take an idea and then let it kind of grow into, this is what the live version of this idea is going to be. Just making studio space available, especially like artists starting out, having that barrier taken away of like having a space to be able to start creating is really, really important.
Thank you. Honestly, give it up for this beautiful venue. Oh my god, I can't believe.
A lot of the time in the early stages, you're performing to your friends and family or small crowds, and you need to be in uncomfortable spaces and learn and see greatness and all that sort of stuff when you're coming up, and then you're like, okay, I know what to do next. Like having artists, like big artists from the city and up and coming ones be in the same space, because that's like, when you're up and coming, that's such a big thing. Like, you want to be able to touch the people that are like, and see that the people that have like have come out of the city and achieved great things. You want to be able to know that you're like, they're reachable and that you can have conversations with them, and that, do you know what I mean? Otherwise,
or you share the stage with them.
It just feels like the gap is so big between making it and not making it when you can't see those artists. Do you know what I mean? So it's good to be able to see.
You guys are amazing, and thank you for having me. I'm Medulla, 2 U's, 2 L's, so follow me on social and follow the journey, man.
It's very useful,
Yeah,
that's a big part of it, because you've got to think about doing the gig, and now you've got to think about filming the gig. It just becomes a lot of jobs that one person can't fulfill. So those small things will make a big difference.
So that is really, really helpful, because if you're trying to build a following as an independent artist, you're very reliant on having video content now to share with people on social media, or mostly on social media. And it works as well, having kind of, because video communicates really well, like what you are like as an artist, but getting like good quality live video sessions is, mostly it's very expensive, or if you have the equipment or a friend to do it, even then it's very time consuming. So yeah, I'd say that would be really helpful.
I feel more spaces like this would be really great. I'm grateful that this is here and it exists, but it just really more.
It's obviously it's a really in-depth subject and it's hard to sum up in a really short thing, but people like yourself who run a venue on your own because you're passionate about it, and I see that myself because I put nights on in Leeds, it just takes one person to stop doing it and it takes so much away from a city. So if you close down, imagine, because you can't afford to support up and coming acts anymore, and you know you need to start booking different acts, it's going to take so much away from a city or the grassroots scene in general, and it's imperative that we keep carrying on and supporting up and coming acts or musicians and creatives, otherwise the scene will die out, and you know you need to keep refreshing it, otherwise it's just going to be the same people playing over and over and there'll be no room for new creatives.
How do I know where my things reside? Living two lives trying to synchronize. Look at me wrong, I'm a simple guy, trying to find peace in a simple life. Higgy, the court's in order. I've got something to say, tell your son, tell your daughter. I ain't gonna treat myself, I'm not a damn contortor. Get with the program.
How am I supposed to speak when ruled by a silver tongue and tears upon my cheek?
Rot away, I'll rot away one day. I'll disintegrate, I'll become dust and waves.
In the sky, let the rain fall. I saw nothing but the blurred transitions between your skin and mine, and everything dissolved. The soft touches in the cold. The faces are swiped as my Betty. The mind is shaken.